Hey, you guys and girls. Welcome to the Don't Stifle Me podcast, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Jacob Stiefel, and we are back again, back for episode number 30. How about that? 30 of these things we've done. Who'd have thunk we'd have made it this far, people? Anyway, but before we get into it, this episode of the podcast is brought to you by the listeners, by you. This podcast is currently listener funded. So if you enjoy it, if you enjoy the talks, hop over to patreon.com/DSM podcast. And on the Patreon page there, for small pledges starting at $1 per month, you get exclusive access to behind the scenes pictures and video and much more. Plus, you get to help fund the production process of what we're doing here. You get to be a part of it. And, plus the bonuses and perks that are offered over there. And that is at patreon.com/DSM podcast. Also, if you're an Amazon shopper, next time you're going to get something on Amazon, if you think to, jump over to don'tstifleme.com or jacobstiefel.com, and you can click the banner there on the homepage that says, click here to shop on Amazon.com. And the prices are all the same for you, but Amazon can tell that you came there through our website and gives a small commission, which helps us fuel the whole thing. People helping people, right? All right. Episode number 30. Let's do it.
Pick it up again.
Today's guest, I have been trying to get in here for months. We finally made it happen. Drummer, percussionist extraordinaire Sarah Tomac came by the house last week and sat and talked with me for a while. We talked about music and when she started drumming and the people she's played with along the way and the cities she's lived in, all kinds of things. Talked about New Jersey, volcanoes, Steven Tyler, much more. So from my office here in Nashville, Tennessee, here is my conversation with the great Sarah Tomac. Sarah, we're finally here. You're finally here.
Yes, we are.
Yes.
I know. We've been trying for months.
Yes, I've been trying to wrangle you down while you've been bouncing across the country. Where were you last playing?
Actually, I was in Houston.
Oh, yeah?
Jackson, Mississippi, and then Houston.
Yeah.
That was the last little run.
I saw one of my cousins in Houston posted a video of like a few blocks over from her neighborhood, and it's just all the stuff piled up in the front.
Yeah, it's sad. Even just coming into Houston on the main highways, it's just, you see all the wreckage. And we were, I think, closer to downtown area. It wasn't as bad. Mm-hmm. But
yeah, I've got some cousins that live like on the west side, and then one of my cousins lives right in downtown, but his apartment was on the third floor, so he was okay.
Lucky.
Some cousins like northeast of Houston, where there was in a little town called Crosby, where there was like an explosion of a chemical plant or something, but luckily they were not, affected. So everybody I knew got out fairly much, unscathed.
That's good. And then Florida, and then the earthquake just hit LA, and then the fires in Montana.
Did it get LA? I know.
3.6.
Mexico yesterday had
Mexico
like a 7 something.
I know. Yeah, not doing so good here.
Yeah, it's a rough time. I wonder if I don't know. Do we just know more about it all more instantly, or is it happening more often? I don't know.
I guess it's all cyclical.
Cyclical?
There
you go. Yeah.
Tequila.
Yeah.
Tequila. Yeah, that's
so,
scary.
Where are you from?
I am from Asbury Park, New Jersey. I moved to Nashville in 2012.
Nice.
So I feel like I'm,
That's a while. That's like 5 years.
Yeah, I feel like and I own a home here with my husband, and I own a home. We bought one 2 years ago. Still paid too much. I'm a little upset that I didn't buy as soon as I got here. I knew I should have.
I was telling you earlier about the place I had in Antioch. I bought it the end of 2010, first of 2011. Mm-hmm. And when I was looking at it, I was like, okay, well, I can buy in this area, or I can buy in this East Nashville area.
I mean, that is where the cool people are.
But I chose to buy in Antioch for reasons not to go into having to do with the girl.
Hey, I lived in
girl.
Antioch.
Yeah.
I get it. You got to do it.
But if I had bought, like, for the same price, if I had bought in East Nashville, of course, I would have, like, quadrupled my money. But
I know.
anyway,
I'm thinking about.
You live, you learn.
We just constantly keep looking.
Yeah.
Like how much the square footage is going up. It's got to stop at some point.
Well, it's like everybody building the condos and apartments and everything. At some point,
it's so annoying.
It's got to.
Yeah.
Change the scale of supply and demand, I would think.
But the whole damn problem is what happens everywhere. And this happened in Asbury Park as well. You know, it's the artists and the musicians come in, they make an area cool because it's cheap.
Right.
Gentrification happens. Other people want to live there because it's cool.
Right.
And then it becomes something else. Just like, you know, in Midtown now, even like Soulshine Pizza had to stop the music and everybody's complaining and it's Music City and it's like, oh, Berry Hill, there's no more studios. There's just, it's just changing. Music Row is not going to be Music Row in a couple of years. It's like, well, what is the intention of coming here? Like you're changing the city.
Yeah. From Music City when you come here because you think it's cool because of, it's like Nashville is a greater example of gentrification.
Exactly.
Because the musicians and the creative people, like you said, were here and made it
and
cool.
People are going to pay $500,000 in East Nashville and there's still gunshots every night, you know? So we got that going for us. But, you know, it's how are musicians going to live when you're building condos starting at 300s?
Yeah.
It's not what it was supposed to be about. So I'm a little bummed about that, but.
Yeah, it's weird. It's like I have a back and forth in my mind. Like I, of course, enjoy seeing things advance and get better. But on the other side, it's like you said, like the creative people and the people who help make things cool are never going to be able to afford.
No, and they get pushed out.
Yeah, they get pushed out. Yeah. So it's got to
stop it, Nashville. Just damn it, stop it.
Yeah. Yeah. Listen to Sarah. When you grow up in Asbury Park, do they when you start school, do they then issue you with your Bruce Springsteen albums? And fan cards?
Yeah, it's usually like your parents do that to you. Hey, it's Springsteen land.
Yeah.
I did at some point in my career work with people that had worked with him, and he was definitely.
Does he live up there now? I can't.
I mean, no, he lives in Rumson with like Bon Jovi. I think they live together.
I heard he was on Mark. I think was it Mark Maron? I think did an interview with Springsteen, and I heard Maron talking about it, and he like went to his house, and it was like a very structured, like you have this much time with him, and
I bet
it was like you don't touch things,
don't look at him in the eye. It's like, no, Springsteen's cool. Don't look at him.
Yeah.
It's a big thing, but I mean, Springsteen's amazing. You watch that guy just sell out Giant Stadium like that 2-3 nights, and that blue collared, whatever that means anymore, fan base, you know, and he is super political, and he never stopped singing about what he wanted to sing about, and you can't not appreciate him and his career in the E Street Band. I mean, it's a band. Yeah. I mean, what the longevity in that career. I mean,
I think my favorite thing about him and watching and other artists and bands is what gets me is the people that you can tell are putting every inch, like we were talking about your husband earlier when he's singing and playing. Like my favorite thing to see is people that are putting everything they've got into their performance.
Why
sweating,
not?
Falling down.
What else do we have?
Yeah.
What are we doing this for?
Yeah.
You know?
It's also one of my favorite things about watching you play drums is the smile, the Sarah Tomac smile. It's just great.
Well, it's just like, what a joy. I still can't believe that I've been fortunate enough to be making a living, you know, doing this. And I'm just so lucky and grateful for that every day.
When did you start playing music?
Gosh, you know, my father was a drummer, so there's pictures of me on his lap when I was a toddler. Wow. So I think, you know, I probably started seriously in my really early teens. Because you never want to be your parents. You don't want to listen to your parents. Yeah. So if he was the drummer, I'm like, yeah. And then, you know, the curse transcends and here I am. But yeah, I think my father had me on a click track when I was 11 years old. Yeah. Like so I guess I had to start earlier than that. Yeah. Yeah. And don't hit too many cymbals and, you know. he was always on me, but I'm not afraid of a click track now. Yeah. So that's good.
Yeah. There's a lot of, I don't know. I have mixed feelings on playing to a click. For people listening, that's a click track is to keep the tempo.
Perfect.
For the song. There you go. Coming from a guitar player, I'm, sitting across from a drummer. I'm the one explaining the click track. Anyway, I probably should play to a click track, but it's I don't know. I push and then pull and then fall back.
That's the way. That's the way songs should be. And when you go in the studio, that's kind of how you make it. You shift the tempos around, or as a drummer, you just learn how to play on your heels, during the verses, and then kind of speed it up and get ahead of the beat on the choruses. You want that kind of stuff to push and pull, and that's the cool thing about learning a click and being really good on a click is when you don't feel like you're on a click, and it's that push and pull thing that you do. And
I bet I've never really thought about this until now, but like playing to a click, but still playing like on top of the click or behind the click, but staying to that click. Man, that's...
Yeah. And that's just, you're doing well when it doesn't feel like a blocky machine.
Yeah. When you're the only one hearing it, and then at the end of it, you say something about it and somebody's like, oh, you were playing to a click?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And, even in the studio, there's a lot of producers do tempo mapping. And you're coming within 4 BPMs of each other, and I've done that on a bunch of records. And, the heart doesn't beat the same BPMs. Yeah. Why should a song?
Right, yeah. I heard, I was talking to a producer friend of mine, and I'd never put the drums versus your heartbeat together until she said, that's one of the reasons that people connect so much with music, but especially with the drum beat is that, it's what your heart's doing. It's keeping it, some
and drums are archaic. We're just,
I was talking a couple weeks ago.
How many drummer jokes?
I was talking with a guy that trained in classical guitar, and we were talking about old musical instruments, and I said, I wonder what the oldest musical instrument was. And I thought, it's got to be a drum. I would think it's a drum or some kind of like flute or something. He's what he said, but I don't know.
A flute. Did you ever have to play the recorder?
I did. Oh yeah.
God, what a terrible. Sorry, every parent out there. What is that, like 3rd grade, 2nd grade?
I think we did it.
It's like a flute.
In 6th. In 6th grade band, that was like the first 2 or 3 weeks. Everybody played that.
Or violin. That's even worse.
Yeah.
Did you have to do that?
Don't make me get mine down. and I tried to play it the other day, and it's just like once every 3 or 4 months, I'll get it down and
just try.
And then just be like, no, I can't do it.
I'll just stay away from that.
So did you ever jump into any other instruments or anything? Or?
Yeah. I like to play guitar a little bit, and I love to play bass. I secretly just want to be a bass player.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think I dream about that sometimes.
Yeah. I mean, it's
play
cool.
guitar, but sometimes,
you look badass.
It's the great.
Holding the bottom.
What's the glue? The bass is the glue that holds like everything together, and then often gets overlooked.
They're usually the biggest weirdos in the bands too.
Oh, yeah.
It's the frequencies, I think, get to them. Bassists everywhere.
Both sides. Yeah.
I like to play. I like to dabble.
Yeah.
I need to start exploring that a little more. Me and Larry, my husband, have been like trying to write for, I don't know, since we've known each other.
Yeah.
Like, we're going to do it. One day we're just going to write.
Yeah.
We haven't done it yet.
It's interesting when he played drums for me at a handful of shows a few years ago. And I remember we were rehearsing one day, and he was texting or was on the phone with some girl or something. And then he got off the phone and he said, hey, no, it was.
I know.
And he said, I think the girl I'm talking to right now, I think you know her. I was like, Sarah Tomac. I was like, oh yeah, I know Sarah. She's great. Yeah. That was a weird, small musical world moment. Did you play music? I mean, in bands like in high school and stuff?
I've always been in bands. God, since I can remember.
Yeah.
I always just wanted to be part of something. I always liked sports, and I think when you're growing up and you're playing sports, I think you just want to be part of a team, something greater than you, and I think that kind of transcended into music for me. As long as I can remember, I was in bands, making friends that didn't even play music, be in my bands.
I think I started a band in 6th grade, but none of us. I was the only one that could actually play an instrument.
Yeah, and that's cool. That makes you like the good one. You know?
It's like you're going to be the drummer, and
you'll be the singer. Yeah. That thing. When I was 11, I sang. My dad had me in the studio. He called in a favor to one of his friends, and he played bass.
Yeah.
And I sang and I played drums. Oh my God, I got to find this tape. And it was Come Together.
Oh, yeah.
You know, of course.
Right.
And then I think I'm the only one, Melissa Etheridge. So so I was 11. I don't know why my father did this to himself.
If you still have that tape, you got to find it.
I know. I think my mom has it somewhere. Somebody's got to have it.
Yeah.
We had our friend come in and play keys on it. And then, I don't know why my father did that to himself. But it's pretty funny.
You know, he probably loved it and listened to it like every night.
Yeah. So we did that. Well, I guess I have been doing this for a while.
At what point did you? At what point did you think, okay, this is what I'm going to do with my life? Like I'm going to be in music.
Gosh, you know, it's so hard. I don't need to explain that to anybody listening, or you, or myself. I think it's something I always dreamed of.
Right.
I was working a 9-to-5 thing, and I would lie to my boss about working. We could work remotely, so I would be like, I'm working at home.
Yeah.
I'd be in Miami, like literally doing my 9-to-5.
What was your 9-to-5 job?
It was we contracted for Sony Music, and we did database management and some software testing. Okay. I know it sounds very exciting. But
you got to do something.
But I got to travel with that and lie to my boss, and I would be in New York City, or I'd be in Miami, and I'd be like on conference calls, like in my car, and I'd be playing gigs that night.
What are you doing? I'm at home. I'm making breakfast right now. Yeah.
And I just always hustled. I would go work till 5, and then by 5:30 I'd be in my car, and I'd be heading to New York City and getting home at 2-3 in the morning and going back to work, and I wanted it so bad, and nothing was really happening in New Jersey at that point. And then I got that call in 2012 to come be with Maggie Rose, and that was when the career really started, because that's
how did that come about? Did you know Maggie?
That's an insane story. Also, Asbury Park.
Yeah.
She was writing with somebody I was playing with. Somebody that my band was backing up, and she came to Asbury Park, and they're like, hey, her business partner was like, look, can she come up? And she played with our band. We played like a cover or two.
Yeah.
And she was illegal, she was illegally drinking at that point. I think she was like 18, 19,
Yeah.
So, fast forward 5 years later.
I never did that.
Yeah. Mom. So fast forward 5 years later, I'm playing a gig in Miami.
Yeah.
And at soundcheck, there's her business partner. He's like, Sarah? I'm like, yeah. He's like, do you remember Margaret? And I'm like, I did. And I was shocked, because my memory is terrible. And I'm like, yeah. He's like, we have to have lunch tomorrow and talk. I'm like, okay, weird guy, whatever. Like, And then the rest of the band's like, no, you need to talk to him. Like, he's really got stuff going on in Nashville. I'm like, okay. One margarita,
Yeah.
And we chatted, and next thing you know, I came to Nashville a week later to audition for Maggie, her manager at the time, Scott Simon, and James Stroud, her producer. And I came and I auditioned in a weird airplane hangar, just me on a kit with 2 of the songs, not even other bandmates, just
playing to the tracks.
Just playing to the tracks. And then got the gig, had to quit my job and move in 2 weeks.
Wow.
And it happened really fast. But I had known Maggie when she was 19.
Yeah. So were you just like, this is a good opportunity, screw it, I'm just going to go?
Yeah, I mean, I made sure that, they sent me a contract, a real life changing thing, and, moved me down here, and I was retained, and we did.
That's nice.
And that's the only way I would do it. And, because I left my job, and I was making good money, and I had health care, and I had a life, in Asbury Park. And as soon as that call came in, there was not a second to doubt that. I was like, let's go do this. This is always what I wanted. Didn't know anybody in Nashville, didn't have any friends here. It was terrifying.
Yeah.
It's totally terrifying, but it's the greatest thing I ever did in my life, you know, and I think we did 181 shows in 9 months,
Whoa.
8 months. Like, we worked that first year. And, and still play with...
2012?
That was 2012.
Yeah.
It was April. It's probably when we met.
Yeah. It
was
wasn't
a long
long
time
after,
ago.
yeah.
Yeah.
Because y'all were out, did some shows with Jared Neiman at some point in that first year or two or so. And that's where you met Chance.
Yes.
I think. And then I think that's how we met. I think it's right. Yeah.
Isn't Chance out with, like, doing stuff with Taylor now?
He was with Taylor Swift in 2015 for the 1989 tour. And then last spring of 2016, he started with Jason Isbell. Damn. And so he's been out with Isbell all last year and this year. Yeah. It's so funny, like you tell, and this is a really cool thing, and it's a testament to Isbell and how great he is. But you tell any musician, you know, people talk about what they're doing, like, oh, you're with them, cool, yeah, awesome. But you tell a musician or a songwriter or whatever that you're working with Jason Isbell, and everybody's like, oh, man.
Yeah. Well, talk about somebody who's just owning his career.
Yeah.
Like, doing exactly what he wants to do, DIY, and just honoring himself, and it's paying off.
Yeah.
You know,
and he's gotten offers, without going into detail, like, he's gotten offers to do things and play venues or whatever that would make him probably a lot more money. Yeah. And he was like, I don't want to do that.
Yeah.
Like he, you know, like I said, the end of last year, he said that this year they wouldn't be playing as many festival slots.
Yeah.
Because he doesn't want to.
Yeah.
Because he just doesn't want to do those shows.
The first time I saw Isbell was with Lyle Lovett and Huey Lewis at a random festival in Florida, and it was awesome. Think about that lineup. Right, yeah. That's epic. I mean, who is happier than me? But actually, funny story.
Working for a living. Sorry.
Yeah. I got to play with Jason on stage 2 years ago in DC. Steven Tyler it was the first rally.
Steven Tyler.
Did the first ever rally for addiction.
Okay.
And Sheryl Crow was on the bill, and Jason was on the bill.
About that. Yeah,
it was awesome. Joe Walsh.
Yeah.
As well. I mean, wow, what a great lineup. And at the end of the night, when Steven's set, Sheryl Crow came up and Jason came up, and we all did "Come Together."
Yeah.
Actually, we did that song.
Awesome.
There you go.
Yeah.
There it is again. So yeah, I got to play with Jason.
It's like you get all those great people together, and it's like, are we battling against addiction, or are we just telling people that this is what happens when you get addicted to something and then be able to kick it?
Yeah. Yeah.
But no,
it was it was an amazing thing, you know, and
that's a lot of talent on one stage. So we'll get to the whole your buddy Steven Tyler thing. So how long were you with? You still play with Maggie though? Right?
Oh hell yeah!
Time out. How many damn bands are you in? Technically, right now, how many people do you play music with?
Okay, so Loving Mary is like 16 bands in one, because Loving Mary does, we have our original stuff. We do a lot of corporate stuff and weddings, which that's all covers. Yeah. And then we're Steven Tyler's backup band. And
it's not a bad gig to have, too.
No, it's kind of awesome. And Gretchen Wilson's backup band.
I saw that recently.
So that's 4 bands. And Maggie, still playing with Maggie.
Yeah.
I play with Them Vibes.
Yeah.
And Raylan Nelson. So
is that 7?
It's kind of like 7. Yeah.
And probably if somebody else were to say, hey, well, you want to come play drums for me? If they happen to pick one of the like 7 dates that you're not playing in a year, I bet you'd still go do it.
Yeah, I would.
So do you still love playing just as much as you have? Oh,
absolutely. Yeah. I'm just so lucky to keep getting phone calls.
Yeah.
I'm like, really? Okay. And everything I'm doing is different from each other. So it's kept my chops up, you know, haven't gotten lazy.
Yeah.
And
well, it's good to keep it, like you said, to keep things different, because then you're not playing like the same 10 songs over and over
exactly.
again, over and over again, you know.
And, you know, I've now, you know, when I first moved to town, it was like, oh no, live drummers don't play on the record. I'm like, what?
Yeah.
And that was a whole entirely different thing in Nashville. But now I've gotten to a point where these artists ask me to play on their records, you know?
Yeah.
And damn it, took me and Maggie 5 years, and here we are, you know, we just did an amazing live record, a 12-piece band.
Was that the one, the video posted?
Yeah.
Oh, that was so good. I watched it several times.
I'm so excited for that to come out.
Yeah.
And
Is
then
that going to be Maggie's album?
Yeah, Maggie's next thing.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's going to be in a full length or what, but those tunes are so good.
Yeah.
And I mean, we didn't touch it. I mean, it's live.
I mean, it had like a Mad Dogs and Englishmen, Joe Cocker kind of feel to it.
Hell
It was
yeah.
so good. Yeah.
And, real live drums. Nothing's replaced.
Yeah.
Nothing is bumped. Nothing's moved. Nothing's tempoed. Nothing, like nothing's beat detected. Nothing's replaced. Nothing was, we didn't even, we just didn't change a damn thing.
Yeah. Well, that's some of the best.
No overdubs. It's just great.
Some of the best recordings ever you can go back and listen to from like Muscle Shoals in the 60s or whatever. And you can hear where the drummer kind of misses a hi-hat beat.
Yeah.
At one point.
Mistakes.
Or like the old, like some of the stuff from Sun in Memphis from the 50s where they left the phone ringing in the background because it was a good take.
Yeah.
Just like stuff like that. That's some
That's
of the best
the
things
magic.
because that's human.
Yeah.
It's human. None of us are perfect.
You can only get that to tape once, when that's magic, you got it. I mean, I think she really did it with this one. And then Vibes too. We recorded that album live. I got to use several different kits on that record. And all of my cymbals. And just, we made a record. And those are the two things I'm super excited about that we did, that I've done in the last year. And even Raylan Nelson,
I've been hearing a lot about her just within the last
she's
6 months or
awesome. Those
something
guys
like
are awesome. I've been playing with them for years too, and got to play on her record. We did the drums at Blackbird.
Okay.
And that was awesome. Yeah, I'm just excited to finally be playing on records in Nashville,
Did you record when you were up in Jersey still?
Yeah, I just did some recording like with my rock bands and things like that. I did a R&B record right before I moved with an artist named Gideon Luke. It was an R&B soul record. Pretty badass.
Sounds fun.
It was really cool. And yeah.
When did you meet your buddy Steven Tyler?
Well, this is a crazy story too. I was playing with BB Buell. BB is Liv's mother. Okay. And let me rewind even more. This is just crazy. Les Zeppelin, okay? All female Les Zeppelin,
okay.
An all-female cover band to Led Zeppelin. They're a big thing, and they're out of New York City. I always wanted to play with them. I saw them. They were badass,
Oh, that's cool, yeah.
And in my early 20s, I got the phone call to do an audition. The drummer had broken her ankle 2.5 weeks before a European tour. So got the call, came up, auditioned, had to learn 36 live Zeppelin tunes, 2.5 hours.
Wow.
And had to be on the road in 2 or 3 weeks and then go out to Europe. And that was my first tour.
Did they make sure that you could get blind drunk before you played the show?
Yes, absolutely. And there was Blow and the kick drum and all that stuff.
Yeah.
He was like the rowdy fisherman. John Bonham was nuts. But I did that tour, and while doing that tour, the sound man / tour manager who was out at the time, he's a gentleman named Night Bob. A legend. Night Bob. A legend, really. And I'm like, you look so damn familiar. And we're having a beer one night, and he's like, oh, I used to run front of house for Aerosmith for years, and blah, blah, blah. I'm like, oh, I don't know. We got back to New York City, me in New Jersey. Night Bob called. He's like, you really got to do this BB Buell gig. It's a great band. The bass player is a Blackheart. The guitar player is an original Stooge. It's a great band. It'd be good for you. Just come up and do it. And so then I joined BB's band and, played with her. And I think we went to Steven's clothing launch. He had Andy Hilfiger had a really cool female rock and roll Steven Tyler line when he was on American Idol, and he did this clothing launch, and I met him then. So that was the first time I met him.
When was that? Was
2010 maybe.
Oh, okay. Was he on American Idol then? Was it that long?
He had to have been, right? I don't know. So I met him then, and then, yeah, he doesn't remember that.
Yeah.
There's no way he remembers.
I would see where that would be something you would remember, but maybe he
Yeah,
wouldn't remember.
he
How
kinda,
many people does Steven Tyler meet?
He's kind of a big deal.
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah.
So when did you get the opportunity to actually play music with him? I just can't imagine.
Yeah, it's insane. It's like a fairy tale. It was the first time I got to record with Maggie Rose.
Okay.
And we were recording this song at a famous studio. Oh my God, what is wrong with me? It's Marty Fredrickson's studio, Quad.
Okay.
Now, Quad Studio is in Music Row. So many records. I mean, Neil Young's Harvest was recorded there on that Neve console.
Not bad.
You know, Jimmy Buffett, like everybody. Linda Ronstadt, huge records from there. So I get to go do this recording at Marty. Marty owns this studio. I don't meet Marty. I know who Marty is. We do this, and then we go out, have a couple beers to celebrate. And my buddies are right down the road at an Irish pub, and they do the rock and roll residency every Tuesday night. And they just play a bunch of B-sides and some cool like A-side stuff from all rock and roll, like 70s on.
Yeah.
You know, just badass band. They just have like guests come up, play drums or play.
Yeah, and you never know
who's going to be there. You know, Robin Sanders done some stuff there. I mean, Alice Cooper came. You know, it's a pretty cool night. So they're like, hey, come up and play Lord of the Thighs, which was an Aerosmith song from 1973.
Okay.
Come up and do this. You know, they always have random shit for me to play. I can say shit, right?
You can say anything you want to say.
That's great. So right after the session, have a couple beers and go to Dan McGuinness and play this Aerosmith song for 8 minutes, and then get off the stage, and there's Marty. And I had just recorded at his studio. I didn't meet him. Yeah. And he's like, hey, I'm Marty Fredrickson. I'm like, hey, I know who you are. You know, we shook hands whenever I went on my way. And then Maggie was there, and her manager, Scott Simon, got an email like, hey, like, can we have your drummer's number? And I made a joke. I said, only if Maggie's not busy and only if it's for Steven Tyler. Completely joking. Yeah. And at that point, I got, hey, Marty's got this band, Loving Mary. He wants you to be a part of it. Send me some stuff and let me see if it's something I could, add to. And if I'm into it, let's see if we can work together. And then that music was great songwriters. It's still the band that I'm in now, Loving Mary. And that was the original stuff. And then after we started working together, it's like, oh yeah. And then, do the Steven Tyler stuff. And I'm like, oh, wow, cool. Yeah. I'm like, great. So that's how it happened.
Yeah. I knew there was one.
Yeah, it's insane.
I can't remember if it was a post that you put up or if you were just telling us. I heard you talking about it one time, but you're talking about how he showed you how to play the beginning of Walk This Way. Yeah. Or something like that. That's got to be surreal.
Yeah. I'm like, hey, because he's a drummer first, frontman second. He's like, no, it's psst. You got to close the hi-hat with your foot. Oh, okay. It's just, and he loves drummers. He loves music. Steven is a super musician. You give him a harp and he played it and it's like, this is flat through it. I mean, the harmonica was flat. Like he's a badass. Yeah. And the man knows what he wants.
I remember I read his, I think it was the book Walk This Way, like their autobiography or whatever. That's great. Yeah, I read that in like junior high. There's a story about him when he was in junior high. He was like drinking vodka and orange juice like before school or something, junior high or high school or something like that. And he was drunk one day and maybe high probably too, and like jumped up in the middle of science class and was like swatting at a bee on like that was flying around in the air like in the middle of class. It's just crazy stories. Shit. Made me, the worst thing I ever did was I think I stole that book from a hotel in Louisiana, and I was like, man, I'm a pussy. Yeah, well, Steven's a rock star. Yeah, it doesn't get more freaking surreal than that. Yeah, your husband Larry was telling me one time, I think we were out on the road going somewhere, and he was talking about he was at, I guess, at y'all's house or something one morning, and y'all were going to go hiking or something that day. Yeah, it was and Easter Sundays. And he was still waking up, and he was like groggy, and he said he heard a voice, and he was like, I know that voice. Who is that? I've heard that voice somewhere before. And he said he walked out and Steven Tyler was sitting in the living room.
Yeah.
Just hanging out.
It's funny. Steven wanted to go on a hike for Easter Sunday. So there's Steven Tyler and his dogs in my Hyundai. And I'm like, okay, that's my Hyundai.
Yeah.
And Susie's, in the back seat. And Susie's in Loving Mary. And we're driving, to pick up Larry at the house. And I'm like, Steven, you haven't been in a band house in a minute. So remember what it was, 1970.
Yeah.
And he gets into the house, and of course our guitar player is fully suited up, like ready for Steven. The garbage is taken out. The weed has been put away. Everything is semi-clean.
He's wearing his coolest clothes, like sitting on the couch.
It looks like fucking John Lennon.
Yeah.
And Steve Dollar comes up in the house, and immediately the first thing you see is a Kiss poster.
Yeah.
Steven Tyler and myself do not like Kiss.
Oh, really?
He's like, I don't know why you like that. Yeah. Joe Perry loves that. I don't know. So he's going at Alex immediately, them Vibes guitar player.
Yeah.
Why is there a Kiss poster? I'm like, yeah, why is there a Kiss poster? This is terrible. And that's when Larry came downstairs.
Yeah.
Like, Steven Tyler's in my house talking trash about Kiss. And then we all went on a hike.
Yeah.
And
he said, Larry was talking about when they were out, and he said this about any time he's been around him, that he said, Steven Tyler loves being Steven Tyler.
He just can't not be.
Yeah. He'll go hug anybody and take a picture and smile
selfies
with his dog.
He looked like we went on a hike, and there's Larry putting on his fry boots and tight skinny jeans to go on a hike. I'm like, honey, what are you doing? It's like, I'm going on a hike, Steven. And they're all just suited up,
Yeah.
And Steven looks like Steven, you know who it is coming through the woods. And, we stopped. Steven's a sweetheart. We stopped. His bodyguard at the time was sick, and we stopped to, I don't know.
Hold on a second.
Is it this?
Yeah, that XLR's been giving me. Is it still doing it?
No, that's good.
All right, back to what you were saying.
Yes. So we stopped at a CVS so Steven can get his bodyguard some medicine.
Yeah.
That's just sweet.
Yeah.
You don't do that. You don't have to do that.
Right. Yeah.
And, I'm like, let me just go get it so you don't have to go into CVS. No,
So he went in.
so I walked behind him, and the cashier's like, holy sh! And he's like, not him, it's not him, it's not him. And he just walked all the way to the back to get the nose spray and everything. It's not him. And I'm like, I just would have done it for you.
Yeah.
It would have been easier.
I can't imagine being to the level where you just can't go anywhere without somebody.
We've gone to Disneyland. He loves going to, Disney World.
Yeah.
Because he's got a roller coaster.
Really?
The Aerosmith Rock and Roller Coaster, whatever. He loves rides and stuff.
Yeah.
So he's turning 70.
Really?
And here we are. It's 11:30, and we're on Aerosmith's roller coaster for the third time in a row, because you just stay on the roller coaster because of Steven's roller coaster.
Yeah.
And I'm ready to vomit, and he's like, one more time. And I'm like, oh my God. And then we went on every roller coaster upside down in the dark, and he just loves that. He loves that stuff. He loves being thrilled.
Yeah.
So I can't handle him. It's too much energy.
When are you going back out next? Are you playing with next of your 7 groups?
Oh, Maggie. We're doing the Basement East Whiskey Jam on October the 3rd. And then we have a Nashville corporate thing with Maggie in October. And then we go out for a West Coast run. We go out for an East Coast run. Yeah, so doing a bunch of stuff with Maggie in October. And then Steven, we're doing a San Antonio gig in November.
Yeah.
And then have some stuff.
I bet your calendar just looks crazy.
It does,
You have to color coordinate.
I have 18 calendars. My husband never knows where I am. He's like, I don't know, Oklahoma. Who knows?
Yeah. Somewhere within a 1,000-mile radius.
Yeah,
of Chicago.
she's somewhere in the States.
Yeah.
Yeah, doing some Steven stuff in November and December. Some stuff with him in January. So yeah, nothing. He can't slow down.
Yeah.
He would stop. He's like Paul McCartney. Those guys can't.
What's like Willie Nelson?
Yeah.
I mean,
not do it.
As I've heard Willie say in multiple interviews, like he's afraid if he ever stops playing, he'll die.
Yeah.
Like this is what he's always done. You know, it's just what he does.
How old? Willie's
80, mid 80s at least.
Yeah, because I played with Raylan Nelson at his 80th birthday party in Times Square, and that was 5 years ago.
Yeah. I think it's in the 85 realm or whatever.
Paul McCartney's 75. I mean, we're really living in a great time to still have these artists.
Yeah.
You know, I feel bad for the next generation, honestly. You can still see the Stones if you want.
Do you have a favorite show or event or thing that like sticks out? Like one favorite thing? I mean, like, of all the things you've done, I guess it would be hard to pick out one. Maybe a top 3 people you've. I mean, I would say people you've played with, but I mean,
wow. The first time I played an arena with Maggie,
it
was pretty surreal. That was in Vegas. And I immediately got off the stage, and the first thing I wanted to do was call my dad. And he had been passed for several years at that point. You know, just didn't even think about it, you know. That was pretty magical. Just the first time playing with Steven, you know, you saw his mic stand comes out first, and you're just like, holy shit, this is real.
Yeah.
You know, and that just constantly blows my mind playing with him. Doing the European tour with my husband and then Vibes right after we got married. Playing in Spain.
Oh, that's
Seeing the fans carry out our guitar player and my husband, you know, carrying them through the crowd outside to the bar. Like, it was insane, you know.
That's awesome, yeah.
I've had such great times. I can't, you know, reuniting with Days Awake, my old band in New Jersey, and we just reunited and did a show last year.
Yeah.
Like sold out. Like, we touched so many people's lives. Like, just touching people's lives, making people, you know, feel that.
For sure.
I've been lucky to do a lot of cool stuff.
Yeah, that's my favorite thing by far and away. My favorite thing about music is the reaction or the connection that you get with people, because I know what music did for me and has meant for me my whole life, and being able to be a part of connecting that to other people is just, that's what it's all about.
I just texted my buddy Ben, who plays drums for Brad Paisley. You know, I was with another drummer, female drummer, and she said the moment changed for me when I saw Brad Paisley, and the drummer like had such an amazing pocket. And here I am almost in my 50s, and I wanted to play drums again. I hadn't played since my teens, and Ben changed her life. And I texted him, I'm like, hey, like, this story, like, you changed somebody's life and they picked up sticks again because they saw you play. And like, you know, you want to share that with people. If you can move somebody's life and change somebody's life, wow. I mean, that's pretty amazing.
Absolutely. If you could go back and give yourself at 18 advice to 18-year-old Sarah, what would you tell yourself?
Whew. Don't be so emotional. You know, music is still a business, and I had been let down so much at that point, and just so much emotionally, like, just invested. And people are going to be people, you know. You have to still be business-minded, and you can wear your heart on your sleeve, but just know, you know, when you're out there like that, you might get hurt. You know, just be a little more reserved and a little more calm, a little more collected, I think is what I would tell myself.
Well, awesome. Everybody out there should go watch one of these bands. Give us the websites and links and social media and stuff. To have all these. Maggie
Rose, Them Vibes, Loving Mary, Steven Tyler, Raylan Nelson Band. You know, the new Maggie record I played on her EP, More Dreams and Dollars. Get that. That's on iTunes right now. Them Vibes, Electric Fever. Awesome record. Loving Mary. Little Bit of Love. Played on that. And Raylan Nelson Band stuff hasn't come out yet. And that's coming out this year.
Cool. Well, check it. Yeah. Everybody go download the stuff. Go see him play. And when you go to a live show, make sure you sit where you can see Sarah play drums because it's phenomenal and it'll make you'll just have that much more fun.
Oh, thank you. So, thanks for having me.
Yeah, Sarah, thanks for talking.
All right.
Number 30 in the books. Thanks to Sarah for coming in and talking. Thank you for listening, folks. Definitely jump over to don'tstifleme.com/030 for information and links on Sarah and the 137 different bands that she's a part of, apparently. Go check out their tour dates. All the links will be there at the don'tstifleme.com/030. The tour dates and everything you can find on their websites. Go see Maggie Rose, see Loving Mary, see Them Vibes, see Steven Tyler, any and all of them that you can. And once again, my friends, please go give a look at patreon.com/DSM podcast. At this site, you can get exclusive access, behind the scenes stuff, perks, bonuses in return for small monthly donations that start as low as $1 a month. And I mean, you get pictures, videos, MP3 downloads of the songs that we play here with the guests on the podcast. You can get your name listed on a supporters page on the website, read aloud here on the podcast, much, much more. There's all different kinds of levels that you can check out at patreon.com/DSM podcast. And again, if you're going to buy something on Amazon at any point in time and you want to help us out, it would help us out a lot if you would go to don'tstifleme.com or jacobstiefel.com and click the banner there on the homepage that says click here to shop at amazon.com. It doesn't affect your prices at all, good or bad. It's the same exact prices that you would get anyway, but it sends a small commission my way for sending you to Amazon. So I would appreciate that greatly. Either way, thank you again so much for listening. I love you. You're a fantastic human being. Just exactly how you are right now. Make sure you do subscribe if you want to get the new episodes of the podcast here automatically loaded onto your device. And you can follow along social medias. The podcast social medias are all at DSM Podcast. Mine are all at Jacob Stiefel. And that does it for today, episode number 30. Thank you. Have a great rest of your day, and I will talk to you again soon.